Hello and welcome to an Ageless and Active session. This time I'm going to be focusing on the muscles along the spine. My name is Jules and I'm going to show you today how safely sitting on a chair you can keep the muscles down your back healthy and flexible. So what you'll need is a chair with no arms, and you'll need to make sure that that chair isn't going to slip. If you are concerned at all that the chair is going to slip or the chair will slide when you push your weight into it, then maybe have that chair up against a wall. So there's no problem at all. There's no risk that the chair is going to slide. Okay, so I'm sitting not right fully back to the seat of the chair. I've got a little bit of space between my back and the seat of the upright part of the chair. And we're going to start just by thinking about what upright is. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to make some very gentle movements, nothing too quick, just moving your shoulders backwards and forwards. Okay, so if you do this quite slowly and carefully, you can feel that as you lean forward, more weight comes down the back of your thighs and presses into your feet. And then when you start to lean your shoulders back, there's a danger that tension might build up in the lumbar spine. So after you've been back and forward a few times, you'll know roughly what feels comfortable in the middle. And then you can start gently, again, don't go too far because you don't want to fall off the chair, moving your weight from one sit bone and hip into the other. And again, only going as far as you're comfortable, no danger of falling off the chair here. And then you can settle again in what you feel is comfortable and in the middle. Okay, so starting from that point, then I'm going to ask you to find the muscles that you need to bring the shoulders down away from the ears. So you're trying to drop the shoulders, almost let the elbows drop towards the hips. And then maybe you can feel the muscles in the back starting to work. And then maybe bring the shoulder blades back a little bit. So now I'm trying to lift up my chest using the muscles behind me. So I'm using the muscles in my back to press my spine forward and away from that chair. So I'm creating a bit more space between me and the back of the chair. And after a while that gets tiring. So when you're done with that, you just bring your chin forward, maybe bring your hands further forward to your knees and let your shoulders slouch. Okay, so we're going to very gently and slowly do that again, coming back to upright, and then finding the muscles you need to press your chest forward. So the spine muscles are shortening, and you're shortening the spine and stretching the front body. And then when you've had enough of that, you bring the chin down and you let the spine lengthen. So what you normally find is the more effort and the further you go into that back bend, again, all the time I'm keeping my chin down, so I'm not using the muscles in the back of my neck. And every time you go into that back bend a little bit further, a little bit more effort, you might need to come a little bit further forward. Maybe you're coming elbows onto the thighs now. And you can increase that stretch in the back by pushing gently with your tailbone into that chair. Okay, again, some of you might want to do something a bit more exciting with your arms. So you could, for example, put your hands under the chair or under the seat of the chair. Again, moving the shoulders back, lifting the chest, creating that bit of space between you and the chair. Some of you might even be able to hold the back of the chair. So you make an effort to shorten the spine, create that curve in the spine, and then when you've had enough, you do the opposite. You stretch forward to let those back muscles rest. Okay, and again, depending on you and how you feel about your neck today, some of you might even want to put your hands behind your head. And then you can move the elbows back and the shoulders down, turn the muscles in the back on, press your chest forwards, and maybe push back with your head. And when you push back with the head against the hands, you can feel the muscles in the neck working. Again, don't do it if it's hurting. And if you lifted your arms, definitely let your arms drop to the knees or maybe even hang. Okay, so you're just letting the arms dangle, particularly if you lifted the arms. And then gently and slowly, hands on the knees, straighten your arms so you come back to upright. Okay, so we've done back and forward motion with the spine. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my chair through 90 degrees so you can see what I'm doing, but you don't have to move. So I'm turning my chair. Again, make sure you're sitting comfortably upright in that chair, both feet pressing gently into the floor. Again, you can do your movements back and forward, side to side, to make sure that you are in fact upright. And you're pressing evenly the weight backwards through the thighs. And then what you're going to do is gently lower one arm to the side and reach down. So just letting that arm get gradually longer. But at the same time, I'm going to keep my left hand on my left thigh as I reach down towards the floor with my right, so that I don't pick up my left leg. So it's quite important that you keep both feet pressing into the ground here and the backs of both thighs pressing into the chair. And then you can come back to the center. Don't forget your left side and your right side are not the same. So this way might be easier or it might be more difficult. So only going as far as you feel comfortable. Again, it's safe with the neck to look down towards your hanging hand. You can feel the muscles in the side body stretching. So again, don't go so far that you're lifting one foot off the floor or one thigh off the chair, looking down towards the floor. So the back of the neck is also getting a stretch, as well as the muscles in the side. Okay, so there's no need to turn. And you could maybe rest now with your hands on your thighs and just move your shoulders gently one way and then the other. And then maybe you could use your arms. So we're going to go to the side and then begin to lift up that arm. So some of you might want to stop your lift with your elbow about halfway up, maybe just higher than the shoulder. Some of you might be able to keep lifting as if you're trying to reach towards the ceiling with that outstretched hand. And then back to the center. And again, only going as far as you're comfortable, and make sure you're keeping both feet pressing into the floor and the backs of both thighs pressing into your chair. If you want to go even further with this, then you may want to move gently to the side of your chair so you can rest the heel of your hand on the chair, and then you can use the arm as a brake and maybe lift the other arm up towards the ceiling. If your neck doesn't like it, then you don't need to do this, but you might be able to look up towards your hands. Make sure you're still breathing and bring the arm down when you get tired or uncomfortable. So that's shifting slightly to the side on the chair, using the heel of the hand as a brake, moving the shoulders and then lifting the arms or arm. Again, you don't have to have that arm fully extended. You could have half an arm. Some of you might be choosing to look up at your hand, but again, make sure this doesn't make you feel dizzy. Stretching up towards the ceiling and then bring the arm down when you get tired. Make sure you're sitting in the middle of your chair, and then to rest the muscles in the back, forward again, elbows onto the knees, pressing the feet gently into the floor, pressing your sit bones and the backs of your thighs into the chair. And if you looked up at all, maybe just let your head drop. You don't have to bring the head down lower than the heart. And just let the chin drop, so the back of the muscles in the back of your neck relax. Okay, so you stay there. I'm going to turn my chair again to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Again, I'm going to start with my elbows on the knees, pressing my sit bones and my flanks my buttocks into the chair so I can feel the muscles in the back stretching. And then if you wanted to go a bit further to stretch the muscles in the back, maybe you could bring your shoulders down a bit closer. Again, some of you might want, again, I've got my rolled up towel here. Some of you might want to put a rolled up towel there in the hinge so you can rest your chest on your thighs. Okay, so I've got my chin in line with the spine, so I'm not letting my head hang. And then notice that every time you lift that head, you're having to use the muscles in the back and in the back of the neck. So don't lift the head too high that you're straining. There's no need to strain the chin muscles by reaching forward with the chin. So don't clench the muscles in the neck. Just lift the head a few times. Keep those feet pressing into the floor and that bottom pressing into the chair. And then holding the head still, one arm at a time, reach forward with one arm. Okay, so again, the arm doesn't have to reach so it's fully extending. You might want to stop with that arm only halfway extended. And again, every time you lengthen the arms, you're using the muscles in the back. So if you feel it's comfortable and you think you can, you could use both arms at the time. But remember, two arms is twice as hard, so go gently. Reaching forward as far as you can, as if you're diving into the space in front of you, and then bringing the arms back for a rest. Couple more times. Try not to let the hands drop. Keep those hands lifted away from the floor. And then hands on the knees. Use your arms to help you come back to upright. And again, you might need to sigh or have a half of the shoulders as you let the shoulders drop. So having stretched the spine, then we've done backwards bends and forwards bends. We've done bends from side to side. So now what remains to do is a twist. So again, if you find it difficult reaching the floor with your feet, what you could have is a thick book, or I've got a yoga block here that I'm going to use. So I'm going to put this block on the floor just to adjust the floor, to make the floor a little bit more comfortable, because a lot of chairs are a man size. So if you've got not terribly long legs, sometimes reaching the floor can be uncomfortable. So just pressing the feet into the floor and then finding the muscles, again, we've just been using them in the back to lift yourself so that you're sitting tall. Okay, and then all you're going to do, because it's not about turning the head to look over your shoulder, you're going to find the muscles you need to turn the chest. So you put your left hand behind the back. Maybe you want to fold your arm and put the hand on the seat behind you. Maybe you want to hold on to the back of that chair. And then you bring your right hand across to the left thigh. And then you find the muscles you need to turn your chest. So it's not about turning the neck and looking over the shoulder, straining the neck. If you notice your shoulders have come right up by your ears, let them drop. And then find the muscles around the waist so that you're squeezing, trying to turn the chest. Knees are still forward, but notice how you've got your left shoulder going behind you and the right shoulder moving forward. And then we go the other way. So back to neutral. Right hand behind the back or holding the chair behind you. Left hand to the right thigh and then turning the chest. So try not to use the shoulders. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Use the muscles around the waist to squeeze yourself around a little bit further, but make sure you're not squeezing yourself so far you can't breathe. Height is more important here. If you let the spine collapse, you'll get very little twist. So trying all the time to keep the spine as long as possible as you turn into that twist. And again, come back to neutral. And to stretch the muscles in the back, let's go back to that stretch. Pressing the feet down, pressing the thighs into the chair. bringing the shoulders forward. Some of you might want to take your feet slightly wider apart and go a little bit further than you did last time, maybe even shoulders to the knees. Again, if you want to go even further, you can put your hands on the floor between your feet and bring your head right down. Again, but don't let go of your chair with your bottom. And then gently you could climb your way back, hands to knees, and then straightening the arms, coming back upright. So I'm going to turn my chair again, you don't have to, so that you can see more clearly what this next twist is about. So again, you need to be sitting. This time I am sitting with my knees to the right of the chair. Okay, so upwards, slight bit of space between me and the back of the chair. Sitting with my feet on the block, so it's comfortable for me to push my feet in the ground and find the muscles around the waist to lengthen the spine. Again, it's more important that you keep the spine long. So again, maybe right hand behind the back, just like we did last time. Maybe you can hold the back of the chair and then you're bringing the left hands to the back of the chair. Shoulders down, so try not to lose your shoulders or your neck. And you're turning your chest towards the back of the chair. Keep your feet glued to the floor. Maybe one more squeeze. And then back to neutral. And then you'll have to pick that block up. If you're using one, turn 180 degrees, feet on the floor, sit up tall. Right hand behind the back or on the chair, left hand to hold the seat of the chair and turning the chest. So again, keep long. If you collapse, you'll get little movement out of the spine. So lengthen the spine and then use the muscles around the spine to turn the chest. So slowly and with practice and over time, your shoulders are turning so they're more and more perpendicular to the pelvis. So make sure that you're not picking up one of your sit bones, that you're pressing equally with both thighs. Back to neutral. Come to that stretch forward again. Knees wide, maybe. Shoulders between or on the knees. Drop your head. As long as you keep your tailbone pressing down into that chair, you don't have to go forward too far. If you don't want your head hanging, then you don't have to bring your head between the knees. And then slowly and gently, hands back to the knees, straighten the arms to come upright. Make yourself comfortable, roll your shoulders down away from the ears, and just notice all those sensations having worked the muscles around the spine. So thank you very much again for joining me. If you're interested in how to work other parts of your bodies safely and from your chair, then please look at my other ageless and active videos. Thank you very much.